Welcome back to the skies of Miramar, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 2 of tonight's PUBG EU Pro Scrims. My name is Jorisar. When we had a very top-heavy game number 1, Twisted Minds with 19 kills, and they were a duo for quite a lot of that game. Come out with the chicken dinner to begin with. Is anybody going to stop that level of domination going into game number 2? We'll wait and find out. It's an 11 to 5 o'clock plane path here for our second game of the day. Relatively even. No one's really going to be complaining too much about the hand that they are dealt. Now, we had fights in Minas Generalis and we had fights in El Pozo in game number 1. It looks like El Pozo is still going to get contested. Ghetto Gang very happy to contest against Snow Guard by the looks of things. They did win the first time around, and Castanis also continuing to go to Minas Generalis along with the I keep thinking the sleep deprived, but it's not the sleep deprived, is it? The sleep dodges. There we go. Kitnesh, Nordskiff, Morsik, and NEQ. So we do have ourselves 2 more fights, and these sort of these structures are so difficult to push. So I feel like the sleep dodgers there will have the upper hand. Senka Pow Pow has spotted, though, one of the 2 remaining members who aren't in that structure. I feel like if Castanis gets the first knock here, they can move out and hold another position and just hold those 1 or 2 kills. Oh. And with the shotguns as well, that is a tricky position to hold at the best of times. Morsik just continuing to hold the bottom of the stairs. Senka Pow Pow will now have had the message that he's knocked. They should both be able to push in now, him and Crazy, to go towards Kitnesh. Tried to get a sneaky shot in as he came down the stairs. Unfortunately, didn't result in a knock. Now looking for Crazy round the corner of the building, and you know what? Opting not to deal with that right now. Morsik is still down. Time is not with the sleep dodgers right now, although Senka Pow Pow getting knocked is going to help a lot. The rest of the team aren't pushing in just yet. Advantage Kitnesh if he's able to push in on Crazy. Okay, I beg your pardon. One other member of the team has pushed in. It's NEQ. So that makes this a 2v1. This is the move that sleep dodgers needed to do if they wanted the chance against Castanis. They needed the numbers advantage here. It looks like they're going to get it. Senka Pow Pow is going to get finished. Marsis has joined the party. But Morsik is now getting revived. So the sleep dodgers, after holding these structures, have decided, you know what? Collapsing in with the rest of the team might be the way to go here. El Pozo fight. Just as ferocious as it was before. This time centering in on the bull ring. April and Oliver for the Ghetto Gang are both down. They're down but not out, though. Hollow is so far away here. What about Zerath? Okay, so 2 members of both teams down, actually. And it's this fight between Zerath and Zubila that I feel will probably dictate the outcome of the entire fight. And because Blazor has a beautiful off angle here, if he manages to tell his teammate that he headshot essentially with the final bullet, this should allow Zubila time to push in and get... No, it's going to allow Zubila time to push around and get the revives. We're playing the long game here, our Ghetto Gang. Zerath does not want to play the long game. Vixen and Hoya do not have much time left. Blazor will have absolutely heard those footsteps. Oh! But the competing shotguns mean that Zerath is actually going to get that off. And Blazor actually got the first couple of shots off as well. So consider me surprised. The rest of Ghetto Gang, though, will be able to get revived. And it means it's essentially now a 3v2 with both members of Snow Guard very split from each other. Never mind. Hallow's gone down as well. So it is just the one. That's going to make things very interesting indeed. And now we wait and see whether or not Zerath is able to try and finish the fight against Ghetto Gang. Blazor, unfortunately, has been lost The rest of the squad are very much still alive. Feel like they should know here. Back in Minas Generalis, the sleep dodgers this time are doing significantly better against Castanis. All four of them are still alive and lighted here. Actually, to be fair, 3 members of Castanis are still alive as well. The fight sort of dragged on. If we take a look at the circle that's basically on Minas Generalis, on Los Leones even, it's not like there's huge amounts of pressure to get this fight finished quickly. So still just the 1 knock in that fight. I don't know to what extent Nordskiff is aware lighted is here, but I feel like he vaguely should know. Only 14 bullets in that M4. Nades coming back out. Crazy essentially needs to hold against 3. I want to know if sleep dodgers are going to push in against this, if they're able to recognize that they have the numbers advantage on this side of the fight. Great peek from Crazy there, using the UMP like an absolute laser. He's not moving out from behind there just yet. He's waiting for backup. Marcis has joined him. Oh dear. I mean, that flashbang's going to be good, but I'm not sure about the follow-up. Crazy actually getting it. Marcis was flashed, but Crazy was able to support. That's 2 members of the Sleep Dodgers down. So it's a 2v3. Make that a 3v1. Oh, and they got the first... They had first blood in this fight as well. It's down to Nordskiff. Castanis are absolutely pushing in. Crazy gets spotted out. Wielding the UMP will go down, but gets traded out, and he will be able to get revived. So Castanis will hold on. And for the 2nd game in a row, win that fight. What about in El Pozo? Ghetto Gang 3. Yes, they've made all 4 kills. So the same winners in game number 1 and game number 2. Ghetto Gang and Castanis will both be completely and utterly fine going into phase 1 of this circle. Now let's take a look at some of these rotations. BBL and Win or Die are tripping over each other ever so slightly. T-Bones decided to take a couple of shots off at Twisted Minds. That didn't work out very well for teams in game number 1. Let's see how well it works out in game 2. No, he does back up, guys. He does back off. I'm just joking. Power coming in from the northeast, but I feel like them getting in here should be relatively okay. Devisen are incredibly divide dead, literally no pun intended. But it is also phase 1. They're going to want to collapse into a 2-2 split sooner rather than later, I think, if we get more teams coming in from the northeast. Otherwise, if things stay stable as they are, they get away with this, but in phase 2, they'll probably collapse into a 2-2 split. Heroic trying to go all the way into town. Team Solo are already here, but they haven't made their presence known just yet. Priel very, very close to James. James is going to stop as well. Not sure about that. Oh, and Silas, third party from absolutely nowhere. Means that James will go down. Priel very happy to pick up the pieces. And say thank you very much for the point. Heroic, unlucky there, I have to say. 2 different teams responsible for going a team member down. Nothing too much to analyze into that. Priel didn't make his presence known until very, very late in the day. And then Silas, very, very pinpoint with his accuracy there. It looks like BBL and Win or Die. I didn't think this was going to come to much of a fight. And to be fair, it still might not. But Ketpa is struggling to get away from this. I feel like if he can get away from it for free and rejoin the rest of his team, he would take that chance right now. Otherwise, he's going to have to push up onto Leosh and Gusiara on his own. Option 3, of course, is to get the rest of the team to come back and say, let's take this compound. He might be choosing to do that because he is looking like he's going to get quite aggressive. As soon as he hits cargo, I would not be surprised to see him push in just to see if he can sneak in a little bit of damage. 2 cars going through the warehouse. Will he be able to get them as they come out the other side? They will not. Win or Die are the ones who leave here. And actually, that was so cleanly done. Very, very well done from Win or Die. Extents and Wades They're holding a compound that's close to the center of the circle. Well, close to the center of the next one as well, because we have absolutely yoinked this circle over to La Bendita. Very, very hard 1 o'clock hard shift. And the teams in Los Leones who are thinking about maybe the possibility of an urban finish, it's still possible, but it is close to right about now. Those chances have dropped to not 0, but certainly near 0. Pacific Esports now and Win or Die relatively close to each other on rotation. Leosh and Gusiara decide to turn back as Bluffist, unfortunately, is down. Oh god, yeah, that's taking way too long, unfortunately. He's going to want to hold this compound from Win or Die. Good shots onto Leosh will allow them to broadcast their position to everyone, which is what you want, by the way, here, because you want to hear a lot of noise so that it's not ideal to crash this compound. And you want to hear a lot of defensive noise. You don't want to give off the idea that 2 teams are fighting there, and therefore if you come in, you're a third party. That's not what you want. You want a single team being defensive there. Otto's mixed team moving up onto BBL. Unfortunately, what he thought might have been a third party was actually the same team. So Ketpa managing to force the trade there. ABC goes down. Onur is rushing in to try and help. And Ketpa on the outside as well. Unfortunately, every BBL member who's inside this compound right now is down. They have to push in. It's Feinotto versus Onur and Ketpa. Grenades coming out. Oh, that did more damage to his teammate than he did to the enemy, sadly. Kino and He-Man down for Otto mixed team. Party Beetle still up. There's still an opportunity for them to go up to all 4, and I think they're going to play this slow. And the longer they go, the better this will be for Otto Mix. Onur knows he has to make this happen super quickly indeed. Feinotto looking for the revive onto Kino now, but here's the footsteps outside, and he's holding the angle instead. Love this. Both sides with the grenades. I love that he went on the left side as well. Onur trying to predict where Feinotto would be. It's 4D chest time. Kino's now being revived. Flashbang, he has to move. Molotov as well on the right, so he's going to go left. Maybe could have done that and then flashed. I don't know. The revive is complete now. Now they're focusing on making this a 3v1. Feinotto Mix will have perma casualties here. Party Beetle still hasn't joined this fight, by the way. They've only lost 1 rather than 2. And there's the trade. Onur goes down. Feinotto once again will get the revive onto Kino. But this time, they don't have to worry about the insta-trade. That is them winning the fight. Oh. Okay, well, maybe they do have to worry about it a little bit because Code Marco is going to get the insta-re-knock from God knows how far. Digital Athletics. They're certainly not looking to crash in on this, that's for sure. As Otto Mix are right on the edge of phase 2. We were talking about how Divizon were divided before and they needed to collapse onto one location. We thought maybe a 2-2. Well, they've actually all gone into one compound, so this is about as safe as you can possibly get. Phase 3, another hard shift. About 11 o'clock this time, we are properly going into La Bendita. La Bendita. Digital Athletics are going to feel a little bit hard done by. They've been rotating for most of the game at this point. Who else is down south with them? Oh, Ghetto Gang and Solo. I mean, Ghetto Gang came down here from El Pozo, guys. They've got a lot of ground that they need to cover. We have a crash going on. The Woo pushing into Pacific Esports. Nixie, unfortunately, on initial contact, went down. The rest of the team should be able to push in, though, and they do indeed. Just about good enough timing from Biestolaj. They're dodging the grenades that were thrown near their vehicles. Noxie looking for a return knock. Won't get it. Potentially great cooking on that nade. Literally just outside the door. Noxie staying close enough to take substantial damage from that grenade, but holds the angle as a result and prevents the Woo from coming in. Is anybody smelling a third party? Who can hear this? Who is going to come in afterwards? That's the question. Oh dear, Biestolaj holding the wrong angle, and Quez manages to spot him out, making this a 2v2. Only 2 smokes available though for Quez right now. I don't know to what extent that we'll be expecting people to push in. There's someone right there! Sees him through the smoke. Noxie's down and out. This is down a 1v1. And Kurexi will rudely interrupt to allow Ibi the free revive onto Biestoloch. Perhaps unexpected there. But the fight is most certainly over. Solo's trying to work out, do we want to push in on this compound? Kurexi doing enough damage to dissuade them, but he's actually a solo in that compound at the moment. They could have crashed, decided not to. Win or die now pushing in towards where the Wu are. So this compound is really everybody's center of attention. And interestingly, after crashing the broken wall, they've kept... This is very slow. There's no crash. Let's grab the first knock and see what happens. It's crash. Why aren't we being shot at? Let's reevaluate what we know about this compound. So win or die here being very slow with their push. Maybe even waiting for next circle before pushing in. Panathinaikos and Digital Athletics in the meantime. Ooh! Coming to blows, and that is a most delightful shotgun shot. In fact, that's from the sidearm, isn't it? That's the sawn-off. POW Esports cleaned out by Digital Athletics, who are up to 5 kills in this game, but Code Marco and Mert are going to have to play the rest of this one as a duo. Solo will know that this fight is over, and they'll know that Digital Athletics took damage, so they're pushing in to try and get a little bit of damage done themselves, but Vorpal Swords and Devizon are both attacking them at the moment, and Code Marco basically comes in and says, thank you very much for the leftovers. Motic, I don't think, has seen Mert on the left side. Pushing in towards Code Marco now. He has no idea where Mert is. Has Mert got an angle? Now he's going to go back and group up with his teammate instead, which is fair enough. Wow, this is as La Bandita as it gets, by the way, guys. Vorpal Swords are inside, which is why they're getting the odd kill of people who decide to move in. But otherwise, this is madness. Twisted Minds with all 4 alive on the north side of the circle. Let's not forget them. You know, casual 19-kill chicken dinner in game number 1. Admittedly, in game number 2, they've had no kills yet, but I am perfectly willing to bet that will change very, very soon. That might even start with Zocker. Beautiful headshot from Perfectix to begin this fight. Misa immediately dropping out of sight so that he can go and further quick revive if necessary. I think he's going to be a little bit too far for that, though. And I'm not sure to what extent they've seen Lou. Misa gets knocked from Klim. So that flashbang, now redundant, but now redundant in a very good way indeed. Jesus Christ! How do you throw Molotovs that accurately? Wow, okay, well, Lou definitely gets soccer there, no question about that. And Vashku goes down from distance too. Bloody hell, Twisted Minds are on a mission today. Only Silas left. Austrian force, though, fighting back through Silas. Batulans has been knocked. Klim has been knocked. And I think they're saying, we're very happy with our revenge. Thank you very much. We'll take this. And we'll take this. Not going down without a fight. Perfectix trying to end it. Silas is outside of zone. The rest of Twisted Minds know exactly where it is. Loot as much as you can. Does anyone have a helmet? He hasn't got one. Last stand here for Silas. Broken vest. No helmet. Still doing damage to Twisted Minds as the Wu are eliminated from game number 2. Vorpal Swords eliminating... Oh, great. So someone else going into La Bandita and getting taken out. Win or die. Ghetto Gang. Heroic. And that's it. Austrian Force eliminated. Perfectix delivering the final blow. Jesus! Okay. Phase 5, still with La Bandita in it. Lou gets taken down by Castanis, who are very, very close by here. On the lip of La Bandita. I don't think Perfectix can easily deal with this. I mean, he has got an AUG, but what are you going to do when the headshots are like that from lighted? to play the long game here, unfortunately. Perfectix forced to move back. Castanis knows it. Lou gets finished off. Ghetto Gang. God knows how many fights they've been in. Zubila up to 6 kills. These guys are not here to mess around, are they? And the rest of... Oh, no. Wait, where are... These guys are so split. Party Beetle saying, hey, mate, do you mind helping me out here? I found a team. Kino saying, mate, I'm 3 miles away. What do you want me to do? This is what happens when you fight 2 teams at once. This kind of split is fine, but it is not fine when both of you are fighting different teams. Party Beetle has to move out. Twisted Mind does get eliminated from this game, but they've caused, frankly, quite a lot of damage today. And I'm sure a lot of teams will be thankful that they don't get nearly as many placement points, at least this time around. 19 kill chicken dinner. They can afford a bad game at this point. Bad by their standards. They still go home with a handful of points. Heroic. Correxy having to play the long game here. Goes up to 4 kills on his lonesome, and they're into the top 6. So much better showing here. Let's see if they can keep that up. They'll have to rotate south, though, to avoid the Vorpal swords. Unless you get to go in with the 1v4. Digital Athletics and Code Marco. Beautiful front flip. Unfortunately, that is it. I'm very glad we got that on observing, guys. I'm sure you are as well. And that's Code Marco eliminated from the game. There is his 5.56 ammo midair. If anyone's wondering where Code Marco is, it is right there. His ashes. He's been cremated and his ashes have been put into that box, guys. That is it. Vorpal Swords inside La Bandita. They're obviously still doing just fine. Devisen now trying to wrap onto Corexy, and I love that Party is basically getting told, come around this way. You should be able to get a flank on him. They're completely right. Corexy out in the blue. In the blue with no clue that Party is right here. And that's it. Mosey gets the final hit. Party doing a very good job there of holding that position. And ooh! Okay, finally we're going out of La Bandita. Vorpal Swords were here for God knows how many zones. They've picked up 6 kills and all 4 of them are left alive. That is excellent stuff, by the way. Especially when so many teams were fighting outside of La Bandita. That's a good number of kills. Like, we respect that. But now they have to think about how they're potentially going to get out of La Bandita. It can still finish inside if we see the next circle, do a 9 o'clock hard shift or something like that. But guys, this gonna get rough. This gonna get rough indeed. Ay, ay, ay. Devisen, remember, are broadly on the outside of La Bandita. Look at this. They're on the lip looking in. They're not committing just yet. Vorpal Swords have hard committed. And Castanis also on the outside, refusing to commit on the north. They've got 7 kills to their name, and they're having a great game. And they start off, of course, with that fight in Minas Generalis. Against the Sleep Dodgers, if I am not mistaken. Getting to a point now where they're getting very, very good, very consistent results. They seem to be quite good at looking at their angles and keeping tabs on who's where. And what I like about Castanis as well is that when one of them gets not even knocked, but when they're quite seriously about to go into a fight, they do collapse in on each other to support very, very quickly. And I think that's important. So their comms and their teamwork, very, very solid here. And they'll get a minimum top 3 finish from this game. There's a crate drop. Who wants to go for that? Not me, thank you. What are Vorpal Swords doing? Well, to be fair, they're in here, but there's in and then there's comfortable. And I can tell you they're only one of those 2 things. Phase 6 and only 3 teams alive already. Interesting circles like this will do that. There's Castanis. There's Devisen. There's Vorpal Swords. And this is your state of play. Vorpal Swords want a way out of the fishbowl. They're not going to get one easily, and Castanis have got an excellent surround on them. The problem is, Divided on the other side mean that they can't go somewhere. There's nowhere they can go where one of these teams won't see them. So Vorpal Swords are going to be praying a little bit for a hard shift towards their position. As phase 6 closes in with 10 seconds to go. Now we find out what happens. Let's take a look. Oh my god. Close to the perfect scenario for Vorpal Swords. They needed that. Like, they were just... Most other circles, and I would have just said, okay, Vorpal Swords are out in third. Let's talk about the other two teams now. No, they are very, very much still in this. And the more time they buy, Vorpal Swords, the more opportunities they have for Devisen and Cass to fight each other, essentially. Right now, everyone's focused on Vorpal Swords. They're thinking we can eliminate these guys first and we'll deal with everything else later. If we can convince Castanis and Devisen to start fighting each other, then that gives Vorpal Swords the time they need to move out. And this circle means that Vorpal Swords don't have to move out yet, so there's a bigger chance of these teams fighting. There is still every chance that Vorpal Swords only take third place here. But this is making things significantly more interesting, I feel. Devisen still waiting very patiently. I think they've correctly guessed that they are the team closest to the center of the circle, so if they get an opportunity, they'll take it, but they can afford to play this slow. And I think I'm completely fine with that. Assuming that is indeed the thought process. Oh, eBay was spotted by Crazy there. Vorpal Swords have had the lifeline. And they're basically saying, cool, are they fighting each other yet? Unfortunately for the Swords, the answer's no. And they might have to... this might simply be a delayed execution. If we get another 9 o'clock hard shift, then Vorpal Swords are in with a shout. But if we don't, I feel like this is going to be painful for them. There we go. Phase 8. Really? Really, dude? Okay, okay. Vorpal Swords are stubborn, and I like it. The circle, also stubborn, and I like it. Okay. We're going to keep this as a complete three-way fight all the way to the end. Vorpal Swords are still in Phase 8. However, I am now 100% certain that for Phase 9, they're the ones that have to move first. And as soon as they have to move first, they are getting lit up by 7 different players on the edge. Party and Crazy are basically holding each other at bay to say, can we come to an understanding that we defeat the team in the ball before fighting each other? As long as they feel like that's the case, grand. This is incredible. Actually incredible. Same 3 teams alive in Phase 6. Going all the way now to Phase 9. That's what happens when you have somewhere where there's a lot of cover and then it becomes no cover. So Vorpal Swords in this case had all the cover in La Bandita. They continued keeping that all the way until Phase 8, but Phase 9 is when that is going to run out. It's hard sometimes as well to play a patient game like this in a game of PUBG. Like, let's be real. It's easy for us as observers to go, oh, this is what's going on. Oh my god, this game's taking so long. Can someone shoot someone already? And all that jazz. Imagine being one of the players and saying, look, our best chance of winning this game is stay just as sharp as when you're in a 1v4 and be super on point, even though no bullets are getting fired. Like, it is hard to do that for minutes at a time. And I feel like Castanis and Devisen have done that for so long. Whereas Vorpal Swords, a little bit of a different story. Lots of panic. Lots of, so what do we do now? Okay, time to see how many smokes they've got. Now, Razor's got 7 smokes. The way they get out of this situation and win this game is by using every single smoke on the planet and finding a way. And if they can keep smoking long enough for Devizon and Castanis to start shooting each other, looks like that's happened. Vorpal Swords still have an opportunity. They have been so tenacious. I know I've been very... It looks like they're going to go out in third this game so far. But they have absolutely done so well. Unfortunately, the utility from Devizon has decided we're going to take out these guys first. And I think that might be the nail in its coffin. They can still third party this. Devizon now hold the high ground. Castanis have decided to move in via the crater to take out Vorpal Swords first, potentially. But Devizon don't want to allow that to happen. They're the ones being the most active at the moment. And I feel like that is going to be the main driver of victory in this game. Vorpal Swords down to 1 up. Crazy inside the smoke, but not spotted yet by Mosey. And Castanis just split their attention. They will get a point or two. In fairness, Crazy actually doing a good job of getting that knock, but he's the only one left alive. Mosey down. Remember, still not out. Smalltalk actually spotted him just for a briefest of moments. And Party's going to be able to get them. Devizon with only 5 kills, but a very interesting and very protracted final fight. We'll take home the chicken dinner in game number 2. Welcome to La Bandita, everybody. And second place with 11 kills. A phenomenal game, especially from Marcis there with 8 from Castanis. And then the Vorpal Swords with 6 kills. Using their position to maximize both their kill count and their positions there. They will finish in third.